And at first, after I opened my third eye, I thought I did it by accident. I was like, oh no, like what did I do? Like my whole life is changing. I don't understand what's going on and nobody else seems to understand. Can I go back? Should I have done this? Hello everyone, my name is Monica and thank you so much for being here with me today. So today's video is going to be a personal story time. I just really felt like sharing the story of how I started my spiritual awakening journey. I was just telling a friend my story of how I awakened, and I just felt like I wanted to share that on my channel because I feel like it's very important because it is how I got to where I am today, how I became more positive, how I started loving myself instead of hating myself like I did not too long ago, and also what inspired me to start this channel and talk about, you know, law of attraction and spirituality and personal growth and self-development. But before I do that, I just wanted to express gratitude and say thank you to all of you who have left me such kind comments. It just makes my day when I see those positive comments come in, and being able to interact with you guys and talk with you is just really nice. And thank you so much for all the love and support, and I hope you enjoy this video. So unfortunately, I am not a person who's good with dates. Not just like dates in history, but like my own personal dates. Like I can remember my birthday, of course, and some people I'm close to, their birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that, but I don't really keep up with any other dates. To be completely honest, I have no idea what exact date I turned vegan because it was a very kind of long transition for me, and I also don't know the exact date that I went through my spiritual awakening. I'm also not a person to really write things down, so if I would have wrote it down in like my journal or something, I would have remembered. Not that it wasn't important, I just don't write a lot of things down. So anyways, I don't know the exact date. I just know it was about a couple of years ago, and that's the timeline we're gonna go with. So to give you a little background about me and what was happening before I had my awakening, I was living in New Mexico. I was teaching spin at the time, part-time, more as like a hobby and something that I was passionate about. I guess that's not important. I tell a lot of details. I had like a good group of friends. Right after my husband and I got married, we moved to Oregon, which I had never been to before. I'd never visited. We didn't know a soul there. So I got very, very, very depressed. I was so depressed and lonely. I could not find a job. I had applied like everywhere and never even got a call back for an interview. So I wasn't working. I was sitting at home day after day thinking about what is my life purpose. I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with my life. Didn't really have anyone to talk to. Like I still had, you know, my friends, but they weren't friends that I would like call or talk to a lot. It was more like we would just hang out socially. Again, basically I was just at home every day, didn't have anyone to talk to, didn't have anywhere to go, didn't have a job, just married and just super duper depressed. I guess warning, if you're very sensitive to subjects about like suicide or suicidal tendencies or thoughts, you may want to click out of this video. I don't want to emotionally trigger anybody. At that time, I was feeling very suicidal, like off and on. I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. I just didn't think there was any point to life, honestly, to my life at least. Yeah. And then at one point we were struggling a little bit financially, not too bad, but it was like we were getting into debt and, you know, we were living on one income. And so my depression got so bad and the suicidal thoughts got so bad that I was basically thinking like I was worth more dead than I was alive. So if I died, then, you know, my husband could take the insurance money and have a better life without me. Like I know this is really, really, really dark, but I want to be completely honest. This is what was going through my head. Like I just felt so completely worthless. I felt like I had no value at all. I was like on the very edge, just about to like jump off. It was very terrible. And I was having a ton of anxiety about, living in a new place, not knowing anyone, and not knowing what was going to happen in the future, what was going to happen to us, for me, if anything was going to happen, if I'd ever get a job. So to try to combat that, I decided to try to do meditation, because I hadn't done it in a really long time. I had done it kind of like off and on sporadically, like in the past, but I never had like a solid meditation practice. And I remembered like it helped to calm my anxiety some, so I was like, okay, let me try to do that again. I found this girl on YouTube, and I found her through something else I was looking for. It had nothing to do with spirituality, but she just had this amazing energy. Like, she was just so incredibly high vibe, which I didn't really know what that meant before my awakening, but her energy was just contagious. She was just so sweet. She was so positive, and she just made me feel so comforted just watching her. And she was, she's a very spiritual person. She does a lot of tarot readings, and I didn't know what that was either. And so I would watch her videos, and I literally like had no idea what she was talking about, but she just made it sound like so cool and so like such a good thing that I was like, oh, I just feel calm watching her, so I'm just gonna sit here even though I don't know what's going on. She had a ton of videos, and then I found this playlist of chakra meditations. I had never heard of chakras before. I didn't know what that was, but I was like, okay, I really like her voice. She's really soothing, so let me just listen to them. And I can't remember if I listened to them all in one day, because I think there's 7 chakras, right? Yeah, there's 7 chakras. I don't remember if I listened to them all in one day. I think I did like 1 or 2 each day, and I don't think I did them in order from like top to bottom or bottom to top. I just did whatever, because again, I didn't know what chakras were. And then I got to the third eye chakra meditation, not knowing what a third eye was or what that meant, but I was like, okay, whatever, let's do it. So this is what prompted me to become awake. It's so simple, but I had my eyes closed, I was laying on the bed, and she just said, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. And it was like, boom, my eyes just like popped wide open. I just knew it in my soul that that was true. And I have never been a religious person. I was born into the Jehovah's Witness religion. I didn't resonate with that religion. And then I went to like non-denominational, and I'd been through a lot of religions, not by choice, because my mom had made me go. If it was for me, I would never have gone, because I just didn't understand the Bible. I just didn't understand it. Like, like I said, it just didn't resonate with me. So by the time I moved out when I was 16, I just stopped doing church, and I was like, I'm not going to any organized religion at all. I didn't practice spirituality. I believe we're all spiritual beings, whether we're practicing it or not. It's not something you do, it's something you are. And after I heard her say that, it's just like, I remembered that to be true, and everything just started, like, all these thoughts started flooding in my head, and like, I felt like I was going crazy. I was like, I have never heard anybody talk about this. Like, why didn't I know about this? Is this some kind of hidden secret? I remember I got off the bed and I started walking, and my eyes felt heavy, and everything, I don't know how to describe it. Like, if you've ever like rubbed your eyes and then opened it and everything's kind of blurry, it was like that. And the first thing I thought of was the movie The Matrix, which I know is super popular for spiritual people. And I honestly did not understand that movie at all. The first like couple times I watched it, I got stuck on the part where they started talking about how humans were used for batteries, and then I just didn't know what was going on from there. So I didn't understand why everybody liked that movie or how it made sense to anyone, but suddenly after I had my awakening, the whole movie made sense to me, and I was like obsessed with it. But I thought about that scene when Neo has all these pins and needles stuck in his body, and he's on this like medical table.
What are you doing?
Your muscles have atrophied. We're rebuilding them.
Why are my eyes, sir?
You've never used them before.
Oh, that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I was literally opening my eyes for the first time, and it was because I had opened my third eye. And I just remember feeling so terrified. I was so fearful. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who to talk to about this. I don't know anybody who's gone through this. So I did, but probably a lot of people too, once they become awakened. I just Googled and YouTubed so many videos, and that took up a majority of my time. For all that time I wasn't working for the next few months, I was just researching and learning and just absorbing all of this information. I probably had like information overload, but I didn't care. I was just obsessed with learning more. And I was very fortunate that I had a synchronicity where I had a message from an old friend that I hadn't heard from in years. Just randomly out of the blue, she messaged me on Facebook, which I don't really use Facebook, but I got the message. And so when I saw her message and responded, I saw that I had another message that was missed from like, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that. It was ridiculous. And so I responded to this other friend and I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't get this message for some reason. I know it's been like 7 years and you might not even use Facebook, but then I responded to her message. And then the next day she responded too. So I just had this inkling to ask her. I was like, you know about chakras and angel numbers and crystals? And she was like, angel numbers, crystals, chakras? She's like, you are speaking my language. And we were friends when we were teenagers, and I hadn't seen her in over 7 years. And I didn't know that she knew about this stuff at all. She never said anything and never gave any indication. But it was such a blessing being able to talk to her again. I feel like my angels guided us back together to reconnect because she was like a mentor to me. I had so many questions. She had amazing advice that really helped me and still helps me to this day. I think about it sometimes. And I also messaged somebody else on Instagram because I had a different YouTube channel at the time, and I had been talking to this one person, and I had a feeling that she was also, woke. And I asked her about it, and I told her I was scared, and she was like, oh, don't be scared. And she started asking me about, or talking to me about certain things like astral projection or travel, which I hadn't heard of, and I still haven't done to this point. I know about it, but I haven't experienced it. And I remember her saying, welcome to this side. And I was like, man, this is like some exclusive club that I was missing out on this whole time, and nobody told me about it. It was also difficult because, I only had my husband at the time, and he understood a lot of what I was saying, but he didn't feel it on the same level. I feel like my husband's an old soul, and he was kind of like born more intuitive and awake, but his third eye closed when he was younger because he would talk about certain things like this with people and they didn't understand, so he eventually got socially conditioned to just kind of, close his third eye and forget about all the spiritual stuff and just be quote unquote normal. But I was obsessed with this when I first learned. So for the first month or two, it was like all I would talk about when he would come home. I mean, let's face it, I didn't have anything else to do either. I wasn't working or anything. And he got a little concerned, like he thought we were going to grow apart because he didn't understand fully what I was going through, and he thought maybe I would find someone else who would be on the same level who understood. But we got through that kind of like road bump, and now we're at a place where I can talk about this stuff and he's not like freaked out about it. He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or he'll even add to the conversation. I'll be like, oh, well, how did you know that? And he's like, I don't know, I just knew it. I think that his psychic ability, there's the clairs, I don't know all of them, but it's like you can have clear hearing, seeing, knowing, feeling. I think his is the one about knowing, because he just knows things. It's pretty crazy. And he'll be like, oh, I think I read it in a book or something somewhere. No, he's incredibly smart. And I believe that I'm clairaudient. When I'm looking, when I set an intention to find an answer or a solution to something, I can meditate and I get like a spiritual download from my higher self that gives me guidance on what I should do. And so pretty much all of the videos that I have done up until this point have been because of a download that I've gotten that was like, oh, this is why this is happening. I gotta share this. So that's why I started my YouTube channel. I was like, I want to share this information. I don't want it to just be for me. I feel like it could be valuable and a helpful tool to other people. I feel like my life purpose now is to be sort of like a teacher, maybe not necessarily a spiritual teacher, but just a teacher in general and a light worker. I really feel like I'm an empath, I'm an indigo, I'm a light worker. I was in a dark tunnel for so long, it felt like. And I literally hated myself. And I didn't think there was more to this 3D world. I just thought, you know, you're born, you work really hard for little money, you have a family, and you die. I didn't think there was anything beyond that. And now I'm so excited every day because I know there are so many things that I don't know, and there's so much to learn. And I'm starting off by just learning about myself. You know, that saying, know thyself. I feel like if you really know yourself, it really helps you to know other people and to know the world. The more that you raise your vibration and your consciousness and your awareness to everything. And I really feel that when I turned vegan, I felt like it kickstarted my way of becoming awakened, because I had so much more compassion for humanity, for animals, for the environment. And I think cutting out meat and dairy and a lot of other foods really cleansed me kind of energetically to where I would be more perceptive to waking up. And then I had gone from believing something my entire life, that it was okay, that animal cruelty was okay, I was supporting it, to one day being like, no, actually I don't believe that anymore. So that was a major life change for me, and major shift in my beliefs. And I saw how so many other people were conditioned and didn't understand where I was coming from, because it's so normal in society to eat animals. If I believed one thing for, you know, over 20 years that I thought was okay because everyone was doing it, what else do I not agree with? So it just opened me up to question everything. I mean, literally everything. I question everything I do now and what I believe. It made me more open to being awakened. And at first, after I opened my third eye, I thought I did it by accident. I was like, oh no, like what did I do? Like my whole life is changing. I don't understand what's going on, and nobody else seems to understand. Like, can I go back? Should I have done this? But now I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicities. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens exactly the way it's meant to be. My higher self, my soul, was guiding me. It was time for me to awaken. And I am so happy I did. It's changed my whole entire life. And I'm just so happy for YouTube and being able to connect with other people who have awakened. And I just want to let you know, if you're going through your spiritual awakening now, if you're in the process of it, you're not going crazy. I promise you, you're not going crazy. There are, I don't know how many other people, I want to say at least maybe a few million after, you know, there's like, what, 7 billion on the planet, so there's got to be a few million people going through it as well. You're not the first person to awaken. Many people have awakened before you. So many people are waking up right now. I mean, more than ever, there are so many people awakening. I love it. It makes me so happy. And younger people, it seems like, as well. And that is just truly amazing. So I think right now is seriously the best time to be alive on the planet. Things are shifting. We are going into 5D consciousness. And yeah, it's just the energy feels good. I know right now we're going through all the 5 planets going through retrograde. I'm not even going to pretend like I completely understand that. I don't know too much about astrology. But things are shifting, and things are shifting in a good way. And I am very excited to see what the future holds. And I also just want to say that the term crazy is relative. If the masses have one belief, and there's somebody or a few that have a different belief, then they consider that person crazy. I don't think that makes them crazy. It just makes them different. We're all on different levels of consciousness, and we're all just doing the best we can in life. So just keep doing what you're doing, keep learning, keep expanding your consciousness. It's definitely, yeah, it's a fun journey. All right, well, I think that's all I have to share right now about my spiritual awakening journey. I still have certain realizations and epiphanies as I go along, and as I have those, I will keep sharing them here on the channel, and hopefully it will resonate with some of you and help you. Thanks again so much for listening to my story, especially if you made it this far. I hope it was somewhat interesting. I really love to hear about other people's awakening stories because they're always so different, you know what I mean? It's just, it's fun. Anyways, thanks again for being here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day or night, and until next time, I will see you in my next video. So until then, bye.